I've seen it said that millennials' entire sense of humor is derived from The Simpsons, and this is something that I'm personally definitely somewhat guilty of. And further evidence is all around us. Just look at how many memes the show has generated throughout the years. And a lot of those memes with a level of staying power that you don't usually see these days. You got Sneed's Feed and Seed, Steamed Hams, The Dud. But even before this modern era of Simpsons memes, the show had its fingerprints all over the internet. And you probably won't be surprised to hear that a ton of YTMND fads were actually derived in some way from The Simpsons. So for today's video, let's take a look at some Simpsons YTMND fads. It's getting to be spring cleaning time, and I gotta be honest with you, I still kinda have my Christmas tree up. But that's not as important as making sure that your bedroom is clean and comfortable. And that's where my sponsor Helix comes in. There's a good chance that you're sleeping on an old, possibly decades old mattress. And in just 7 years, a mattress will grow to contain over 16 million colony-forming units of bacteria per square inch. That's years of sweat, saliva, and other bodily fluids. You're having wet dreams that you don't even know about, and now there's fungus growing inside of there. I bet you want to buy a new mattress now. Well, Helix makes premium mattresses and bedding shipped right to your door, with free shipping in the US. Just take Helix's sleep quiz to match your body type and sleep preferences. I'm a side sleeper, so Helix gave me a sunset mattress. Helix just launched a new line of mattress toppers. You got the dual comfort mattress topper, which is a great option for couples with different sleep preferences. The Ergo-Align mattress topper, which is a great option for those with lower back pain. The premium mattress topper, which is a great option for sleepers who are looking for added pressure relief for their hips and shoulders. And the premium topper also comes in a memory foam version. I've been sleeping great with my Helix mattress for a few years now, and with the mattress topper, it's even better. Right now, Helix is running their spring savings event. You can get 20% off site-wide. Just go to helixsleep.com/wang. On Sunday, December 17th, 1989, The Simpsons made its debut on Fox. And although the show was tame by today's standards, it was extremely controversial back then. This was a time when animation, at least in America, was mostly seen as just for kids. And here you have Bart, who at this point is more or less the main character of The Simpsons, and he's openly disrespectful to his parents, his teachers, and any other adult who crosses his path.
Eat my shorts.
All right, I'll eat your shorts.
Yeah, eat my shorts.
Eat my shorts? Did he even say that on TV? As the show's popularity grows, concerned moms of America are getting more and more outraged. Bart Simpson shirts, which are everywhere at this point, are getting banned from schools. Which, I mean, okay, to be fair, I did get in trouble at some point for saying, "I'm Justin Wang, who the hell are you?" In any case, Fox was more than happy to have all this controversy. With shows like Married with Children and In Living Color, they were very deliberately branding themselves as the edgy alternative to wholesome, family-friendly shows. Stuff you'd see on their competitors like NBC. You know, that stuff was old-fashioned and corny. NBC viewers drive like this, but Fox viewers drive like this. Of course, the person at this point in time who most represented what The Simpsons was going up against was the most wholesome man in America, America's dad, Bill Cosby. As The Simpsons grew in popularity, Fox would eventually move the show to Thursdays. This would place it in direct competition with The Cosby Show. And it wasn't too long before the show beat him in the ratings. And when asked about it, Cosby said he wasn't surprised. He said that this was obviously the direction American culture was headed, and the show reflected the real problems that people were having. And I guess, perhaps a bit ironically, he also said that he felt he lost some viewers because this past season he had been focusing on educating people about women's issues. And although a lot of what he said about The Simpsons seemed to be in the spirit of good competition, there's also a few things that were interpreted as jabs. For example, when he called the show antisocial. And in a piece by Entertainment Weekly, he referenced the guy who said he has to watch The Simpsons because he learns too much when he watches Cosby. That acknowledgement, of course, wouldn't just go one way. The Simpsons has parodied Bill Cosby a number of times over the years. One notable example being Season 6, Episode 22, Round Springfield, where Bleeding Gums Murphy appears on The Cosby Show.
You see, the kids, they listen to the rap music, which gives them the brain damage, with their hippin' and the hoppin' and the bippin' and the boppin', so they don't know what the jazz is all about, you see?
Bill would appear again in Simpsons Season 12. This time he talks about Pokemon.
What do you like to play?
Pokemon.
Pokemon? Pokemon with the pokey and the man and the thing where the guy comes out of the thing and he makes it fall off the side.
I feel like 90% of the time when you hear someone do a Bill Cosby impression, they're actually doing an impression of The Simpsons doing an impression of Bill Cosby. And along with similar parodies from Family Guy and occasionally The Critic,
you should get yourself a spoon and fill it with Jello pudding.
This would go on to be part of one of the biggest YTMND fads of all time. It starts on August 14th, 2005, when a user Sick Suicide Note creates the YTMND Bill Cosby Pokemon. It's a simple, classic-style YTMND with a screenshot and audio from the Pokemon episode. The YTMND does pretty well, but it's got that kind of thing going on where people can kind of tell there's something there, but they're not really sure what to make of it yet. That something was figured out on March 30th, 2006, when user Cassius posted, "Man, Pokemon, Cosby." In this YTMND, he mashes up the Simpsons Cosby bit with Robot Rock by Daft Punk. At that point, the site does what it does best, and people are coming with all different kinds of Cosby mashups. A lot of them are just inserting Bill into popular YTMND fads, like What Is Love? Or Catch That Man. But the most popular versions wind up being ones completely unrelated to any other YTMND fads. Just Cosby songs that are bangers in their own right. Like Dr. Dre featuring Cosby by user Studged.
With their hippin' and the hoppin' and the pippin' and the boppin', so they don't know what the jail is all about, you see?
And then there's the one that if you were there back in the day, you probably thought about this as soon as you realized I was talking about Cosby Pokemon Simpsons crap. Cosby Bebop. In this one that's made by Sir Lemming, he not only mashes up Cosby into the Cowboy Bebop theme, he remakes the entire animated intro with Cosby in it. If you weren't there at the time, it might be hard to appreciate how difficult it was to sync up a GIF like this with an audio file, especially with the software that was available at the time. It's like editing a video with caveman tools. But he pulled it off flawlessly. If I ever make a list of the greatest YTMNDs of all time, which actually that might be a good topic for another video, but if I ever did make a video like that, this one would almost definitely rank somewhere near the top. Michael Moore occupies kind of a weird space in our culture. There is a time when he was quite possibly the most hated man in America. I mean, just look at these Angel Fire websites. I have a vague recollection of enjoying his show TV Nation, but when that show was on, I was like 9 years old, so I definitely understood nothing that actually happened on it. What really propelled Michael Moore into the mainstream, though, was his documentary Bowling for Columbine, which won 2001's Academy Awards for Best Documentary. During his speech, he condemned the then brand new war in Iraq.
"We are against this war, Mr. Bush. Shame on you, Mr. Bush. Shame on you."
And he was mercilessly booed by an audience of celebrities who would now tell you that they agreed with him all along. He would address this war in his next documentary, Fahrenheit 9/11, in which he looks at the impact of the attack, the subsequent war, and the potential conflicts of interest that were had by George Bush. This documentary was wildly successful, and it still holds the record of the highest domestic box office for a documentary. It also received a lot of criticism, some of it even coming from people who shared his political views in general. Some people thought that he stretched the truth to fit his narrative. Others just disagreed with some of the conclusions he came to. Even people who generally didn't care about politics. They didn't really care about his documentary that much, they just found him annoying. So on top of people who saw the movie and had critiques of it, you also had people that are just like, "He's fat!" Enter YTMND. On September 27th, 2005, a site is made by Master Sitsu, who I distinctly remember being one of the best posters on YTMND. There's a good chance I already said that in another video. So he finds this clip of Michael Moore where he's giving a speech, and he does this thing. He's like moving his hands around like Donkey Kong Jr. So he takes that clip of whatever the fuck this is, and combines it with the audio from Season 4, Episode 17 of The Simpsons, where Homer Simpson is at a protest and he's banging on a taco truck chanting,
Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito?
Oh!
The result is a YTMND entitled, Michael Moore is Too Easy to Make Fun of.
Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito?
The comment section for this YTMND is a very interesting snapshot of 2005. I gave this a 1 just because I'm the first guy too, and all of you people gave it a 5 because you hate this guy. Actually, to this is wrong. A lot of people who like Moore will probably 5 this. Hell, I have some of his movies and I made this, so... Oh, okay. Sorry, it is funny. I get confused about what people say sometimes. It's okay, just remember this is made partially in spite of a lot of unfunny pro-Bush, anti-Moore sites that have been made here. In other comments, he reiterates that he really doesn't care about Michael Moore one way or the other, and he was just getting annoyed by all the unfunny Michael Moore sites trying to push an agenda. Because, you know, even back in 2005, it was the same. People who were online seething about politics rarely managed to actually make something funny. And on that token, it's kind of funny how this meme, all the way back in 2005, kind of reflects the recent JD Vance memes. Because, you know, it was started by people who like him. And then both people who do like him and don't like him find it funny. And then at the same time, you get people who are like, no, there must be some kind of secret agenda here. Of course, the 2025 version of that guy would have never in a million years conceded the point like to This Is Wrong did back in 2005. Of course, now, the real story here, though, is what the fuck is Michael Moore doing with his hands? Perhaps he's at a rave. Maybe he's in the Take On Me video. On October 10th of 2005, user Goda on a Stick makes another YTMD that I consider to be in the running for possibly the greatest of all time. Michael Moore is an anime character, and he puts him in the Full Metal Alchemist opening, running with the Elric brothers to Larkin CL's Ready Steady Go. This gets people's brain juices flowing, and before you know it, Michael finds his burrito, and it's a Katamari. A few months later, the running Michael evolves into Michael getting hunted. Started once again by Master Sitsu, it starts with Samurai Jack on New Year's Eve. And then suddenly, Michael's getting chased by every form of man and beast. What I really like about the Michael Moore fad, it's got all these distinct stages of evolution that kind of gives you insight into how so many of these YTMD fads managed to have a way longer shelf life than a lot of memes, even back then. It's like just as a fad was starting to fizzle out, someone would come around and make a site that completely changed how everyone else approached the fad. And at that point, you've bought yourself at least another month. I know what some of you guys are thinking as soon as you read that title card. Well, this is actually addressed directly on the YTMND wiki. Milhouse is not a meme. He is, however, a fad. Of course, you'll know that Milhouse did have some memes of his own, like 2 spaghetti dinners and everything's coming up Milhouse. You know, just about every single recurring Simpsons character has some kind of meme to them. But the overwhelming majority of Simpsons memes take place in the Golden Era. There's some disagreement as to where the Golden Era exactly is, but the consensus seems to generally be that it ends somewhere between Season 7 and Season 10. I would honestly place it a little later than that, because it's not as if The Simpsons just suddenly got bad all at once. It was such a gradual thing that you barely realized it as it was happening. Regardless, this YTMND fad comes from Season 16. It first makes its way to the site on May 22nd of 2005, posted by Dirtclaw. Milhouse fails at friendship. In the clip, Milhouse plays Frisbee by himself as the Price is Right fail horn plays. And the top comment, of course, is, Milhouse is not a meme. And at that point, he was right. That version of the site barely got any attention at all. But also, before I move forward, I spotted the most time travel culture shock shit in the comments section. So you got this one user, DS Riggs, on May 22nd of 2005, quoting Milhouse, "My mom says I'm cool." And then you have this guy, Laser McLeod, replying in 2023. A total of 0 people asked, how did a modern Twitter reply guy find his way to this specific comment section just to antagonize a YTMND user from almost 20 years ago? You're not supposed to be in a decades-old YTMND comment section. You're supposed to be saying things like this under our Pokemon selfie. As a function of how a lot of people approached making YTMNDs. This episode first aired only a few months before Dirtclaw posted the YTMND, and I think it's likely that he had just seen the episode as a repeat. A lot of times back then, you'd be watching a show or something, and all of a sudden you'd notice a moment that seemed very YTMND-able. Maybe there's a moment where someone reacts to something. Or even better, a moment where someone reveals something. But the real staple is something that looks like it would loop perfectly. But the thing is, what a lot of these types of YTMNDs need to really take off is the right audio clip. And the Price is Right buzzer wasn't really hitting for this clip. Like, stuff had a kind of a long shelf life on YTMND, but this was very stale. Dirtclaw would figure out the recipe a few months later, though. He makes another site with this gif. Milhouse plays with himself. And now it's using Just a Friend by Biz Marquee. This is the version that gets popular. But also now you also have a bunch of comments from people who did see the original, and they are accusing him of stealing his own gif. Can't win. In any case, with this site being way more popular, now more people are becoming aware of it and more people are using it in things. And the one that really sent people off in a new direction was Milhouse Practices Telekinesis, the Dark Gift, by user Moneyhat, whose name also rings a bell. So now he's got the gif reversed, and Milhouse zaps the Frisbee back to himself. The introduction of these elements gets people thinking about it in supernatural horror movie terms. And then all of a sudden he's astral projecting and frying the frisbee with his mind. And he's teleporting. And he has an evil twin. Hugo could never. December of 2005, Neon Lights writes, "Stop doing Simpsons YTMDs. They aren't funny. No originality. And we can fucking see these jokes on DVD or one of the 10 times a day that syndicated Simpsons comes on." Alright, so this one isn't really a Simpsons fad, but it's just that the Simpsons variation of it has lived in my head rent-free for almost 20 years. So the movie 300 comes out in March of 2007, and that shit is world-changing. I know some of you guys are probably like, oh, it's just a dumb action movie. And yeah, okay, it kind of feels like a 2-hour-long trailer in some ways, but at its core, it's what every action movie should strive to be. Just 2 hours of guys being badasses. And of course, this movie was a fucking meme factory, the likes of which we hadn't really seen from a movie before. The most well-known one, of course, was This Is Sparta, where the Persian messenger gets kicked down the bottomless pit. On YTMND, that particular meme would manifest as North America Danger Duo's 300 TMND.
This is blasphemy. This is madness. Madness. This is Sparta!
The guy who made 300 TMND apparently wanted it to be a series of different YTMND formats from 300, but This Is Sparta just dwarfed everything else, as it did on all the rest of the internet. But there were some other emergent formats on the site that I think were way better. And the best one, in my opinion, began with a post by Khan on March 21st, 2007. Spartans, what is your profession? If you've watched the movie, you know the scene that it references. You have the 300 Spartans encountering the Arcadians, and the Arcadians want to know why they have so few soldiers compared to them. So Leonidas asks the Arcadians what their jobs are. Potter, and sculptor, stuff like that. But the Spartans, he asks them what their profession is, and they're like, who? That means they're professional badasses. In the war, you're gonna want that more in a Potter. So Khan takes that scene and he puts his own little spin on it for YTMND.
Spartans! What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more singers than you did.
For the purposes of YTMND, this entire scene is so exploitable for reasons that should be very obvious to you at this point. So shortly after Khan posts this YTMND, the night of March 21st, 2007 becomes a marathon of different guys making different versions of this format. For instance, the Spartans are a gem and they're truly outrageous.
What is your profession?
Gem is truly outrageous. Truly outrageous. Whoa, gem.
And they're also Bub Rub.
What is your profession?
But then you get to this one. I know I already said this twice in the video, but this time, this one might actually be the best YTMND of all time. And once again, apparently it's by Master Sitsu. I think I just like this guy because he made Simpsons jokes. And this time he even mixes in episode 2 of Futurama. So this YTMND by Master Sitsu is called Entitled Arcadians Are Losers. Honestly, as much as I just hate to play a full clip uninterrupted like I was a substitute teacher or something, with this one you really need the full experience.
See, I was wrong to expect Sparta's commitment to at least match our own.
You, there, what is your profession?
I run an unsuccessful shrimp company.
And you, Arcadian, what is your profession?
I shoot birds at the airport.
You?
I play a millionaire at parties. I beg celebrities for money. Jug band manager.
I'm a prison snitch.
My legs hurt.
Spartans! What is your profession?
We're whalers on the moon. We carry a harpoon. But there ain't no will, so we don't talk tales and sing a wailing tune.
This specific YTMND has popped into my head constantly for the past 18 or so years. Like, in terms of my life personally, this might be the single most load-bearing piece of content that came from YTMND. Like, ever since I saw this YTMND, there'd be times, and this would go on for years, where because of it, the song would just pop into my head, and then I'm out in public like, we're whalers on the moon. And it always kind of surprised me that that song didn't become more of a thing. Like, to me, that seems like the exact kind of thing that would spawn a million YTMNDs, but there's just not that many. And for that matter, the song never really permeated the rest of the meme culture like, say, Dr. Zaius did. And to me, that one is the Dr. Zaius of Futurama. I think what happened is a lot of people just haven't realized Whalers on the Moon's true power level because they haven't seen that YTMND from back in the day. So hopefully this video ushers in a Whalers on the Moon renaissance. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't originally intend for this to become a themed YTMND video, but as I was writing it, I realized that all of these YTMNDs have Simpsons roots. So I guess on that note, if you can think of any really common recurring threads between different YTMND fans, let me know in the comments. But anyway, that's all for now. And if you like this video, turn on notifications and check out my video about Punch the Keys, for God's sake. I'm out.